Hello, I'm Steve Johnson, Farm Management Specialist with Iowa State University Extension and Outreach. Let's take a look at basis carry and cost of ownership. Basis is defined as the difference between the local cash price and the underlying futures price of a commodity. Again, basis in Iowa tends to be negative most of the marketing year. That's because, as you can see from the line graph, the blue line is the cash price, and the red line is the nearby futures price. During most of the marketing year, beginning with month number 1, we see that the cash price tends to be less than does the futures price. When we look at basis, it tends to be wider at harvest when there's an abundance of supply compared to the demand for the product. But as we move through the marketing year, the basis tends to strengthen or becomes less negative. Basis is an important consideration in marketing strategies and tools. Carry market. Again, carry is defined as the difference in price between the nearby contract and the more distant delivery months. So in our examples today, we'll be using December corn, January soybeans as nearby contract months. And then we're comparing those nearby futures prices to what might be offered. It's an incentive, if you would, to store grain using various delivery months. When someone says there's carry in the market, think of it as a stair step going up, with the nearby contract being December corn and the more deferred markets being the March or the May or the July. How large are those steps as we move from the nearby to a deferred? And the same way with soybeans, we'll start with January as the nearby contract. And again, is there carry in the market? An incentive for you that the likelihood is there's enough carry as an incentive to store bushels beyond the nearby contract month. In some cases, we'll see that there's an inverted market. There is no carry, and actually the stair steps are moving down. This typically occurs when there's strong demand for the nearby delivery months, or it reflects worries about securing adequate supplies in the near term. We see this likely more often in soybeans than in corn, but there is an inverted futures. There is less incentive to be storing a crop longer term. Also, corn storage cost. I like to feature corn storage cost as a means to compare both on-farm to commercial storage. Let's pretend that cash corn price at harvest is $3.50 per bushel, but there's interest accruing on an operating note at a 5% annual percentage rate. I'll use a 20-cent initial charge to handle those bushels once. So this isn't a drying charge. This is a cost of moving the bushels from the field to an on-farm storage or to the first point of delivery. Then every month there's a cost accruing. There's a storage cost as well as a cost for the time value of money. As we proceed roughly 9 months beyond harvest, we can see that commercial storage charges are going to be much higher than would typically on-farm storage. Again, this is a corn example for the cost of storage. We could do the same for soybeans. In this case, it's $9 per bushel cash soybean price at harvest and a 5% annual percentage rate for operating notes that are accruing interest because we're storing those bushels both on farm as well as commercially. Again, know that there is a cost of storage, whether it be time value of money, a fixed cost for storing commercially, or both a fixed and variable cost for storing on farm, as we still must monitor the condition of the grain. As we step back, we call this the cost of ownership. Storage isn't free. In most cases, roughly, on-farm storage would be about 3 cents per bushel per month. For the Iowa Commodity Challenge and the marketing simulation, those bushels are stored commercially, and we're actually going to be charging 6 cents per bushel per month. For soybeans, again, if we're storing those bushels on farm, roughly around 4 cents per bushel, about a penny per bushel for the fixed cost of storage for soybeans, but roughly 3 cents per bushel per month just for interest or the time value of money. And again, for the commodity challenge marketing simulation, we'll be charging 6 cents per bushel per month for each month that those bushels are stored. What key points would we have today? I think understand that basis reflects the local supply and demand for grain, and basis can vary by location. Local co-op would have a different basis than a processor or perhaps a terminal or a feedlot. Also, determine if a carry market is enough incentive to store grain, but also consider the storage costs that are accruing, whether those costs are for on-farm or commercial storage. And before storing grain, calculate your own cost of ownership, both per bushel and per month. I'm Steve Johnson, Iowa State University Extension and Outreach.